Bum, 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 bum. I have been summoned out of retirement. So for those of you that don't know, about a year ago, I posted what was supposed to be the last video on this channel. I had been doing reviews for about 4 years. The truth was, my heart just wasn't in it anymore. On top of that, the job I had that allowed me to travel basically full time, which made testing these products extremely easy, I no longer worked at. So it just felt like it was the right time to move on from this. I actually started a new YouTube channel called Magnum Opus. I'll link it down below. If you're a fan of movies and you want to have a couple laughs, highly recommend you check out my new channel. But all of that changed when a subscriber named Dylan reached out to me about a month ago and said, "Hey Odie, I went out and created my own bag. It's coming out on Kickstarter and it'd be really cool if you reviewed it." And I said, "Hey Dylan, that's awesome. That's really cool. I'm super happy for you, but honestly, I'm retired. I kind of want to stay retired. I don't really have a space to record. I don't really have the equipment to record anymore." But after some talking with him and some negotiating, which really wasn't negotiating, he just pretty easily convinced me, I decided, hey, why not come out of retirement for a one-off review for a subscriber who went out and did something absolutely incredible. And that's make a bag that is 100% his own, that is out on Kickstarter now, and truthfully, well, let's get into it. All right, so this is the Almond Oak 25 liter with a 5 liter expansion travel backpack. Now, here at the top, I just want to name some of the things that Dylan let me know are going to be changing for the final version of this. So I want to get those out of the way now. So if you see them as we go through, you can keep that mental note that these are some of the things that are going to be tweaked and changed and adjusted for the final version. So there's only really 3 major changes that are going to be coming for the final version. The first one is the stitching location of the back straps, which is going to help it be a little bit more comfortable and sit on your back a little bit easier. There's also changing the stitching on the side handle, and the biggest change is going to come on this front compartment. Right now it's got some dividers in there. It's got a little bit of like organization. That's going to be changed into one big mesh zippered pocket, which truthfully, great idea because this is a good front pocket, but that one single mesh pocket will definitely go a lot further. So as we go through this, as always, even though it's been a while and I'm a little rusty, we're gonna go through the materials, organization. I'm gonna show you how I packed it out. I actually packed it out 2 different ways. So I'm gonna show you 2 different versions of how I use this bag. We'll talk about the comfort, we'll talk about the pros, we'll talk about the cons, and we'll talk about all of it. We've got YKK zippers with these fantastic zipper pulls. Now YKK you can never go wrong with, so that's a great choice. The build quality is always going to be there, but I like these zipper pulls a lot because they remind me of Black Ember's Forge bag or just really any of the Black Ember bags. And I like that Dylan went an extra step, and you'll notice on this bag, no logo, no branding, it's all black. But on these zipper pulls, you have a little bit and it says Almond Oak, which is kind of the only real branding that stands out on this bag. And even then, it doesn't stand out at all. So I like that little creative touch. I like that streamline, and I like that it's not full of logos and branding, which to me can kind of make it look a little cluttered and honestly take away from that aesthetic of the bag. Now, one thing that I want to point out that you want to be a little careful about is there's no weather guard zips on this. So if you're using this for travel, if you're backpacking around, if you're going from place to place and you're going to be in a place where there might be elements, like when I tested this in Florida and it was raining quite a bit, you just want to be aware of the fact that there is no weather guard. So either a rain fly, which I didn't get, or something that can keep this a little bit more protected if you're going to be in the elements is something you want to definitely keep in mind. Now, let's talk about the material on this bag. We got a 280D nylon PU coated water resistant exterior and 100D nylon interior. Now, I really like this material because it adds a little bit of water resistant to it, and I also just like the feel for it. It does also make it a little easier to kind of pack this and mold this to what you need. One thing with bags that are very stiff, it can be kind of hard to put some of those odd shaped items, or maybe you want to try to cram something in there. Bags like this that allow you to kind of move the shape of the bag really make that packing experience a little bit more personal, which I found to be very handy for both of the loadouts I have in this thing. Okay, when it comes to straps and handling, you have a very nice top handle, which is great. It's easy to get your hand under, very nice. When I was in the airport, it was super nice to kind of hold this by my side as I was boarding the plane or as I was going to my seat. There are 2 nice, smaller side handles, which make this really easy to kind of put in the overhead compartment if you want to handle it briefcase style. However you want to do it, you've got multiple points of contact. What you do not have is a point of contact on the bottom, but honestly, I didn't find that to be that big of an issue for me personally. But 3 nice nylon handles on either side do go a pretty long way. When it comes to the backpack straps, here is where I think I had my only issue with this bag, and I'm gonna say it was probably more user error than anything else, because small spoiler alert, the last year I've only been using the same bags. I pretty much found what worked for me and I just stayed in that group. So it's been a while since I've tested a bag, and I think where I messed up is the sternum strap. So these can slide off and they're adjustable, which are great. And honestly, the fid lock on this, and I didn't even get a chance to get footage of it, was fantastic. It was one-handed, easy to get the sternum strap on, easy to get it off, easy peasy all the way around. However, I kind of lost the other connector for it. It was on and I went to go take it off and I didn't realize I still had it buckled, and I was kind of fiddling with it and I think it just popped off, and by the time I realized, it was gone. So I don't know, again, I think that's more user error. I guess I would only say just be a little careful with how tight you have the sternum strap, because I definitely had it tighter than I needed to. And when I kind of flexed my big muscles, that's not true. When I just kind of like moved a little bit, I think it popped off and I didn't realize it. And then I undid it without thinking, and it just kind of, it's lost in the Denver airport somewhere in there. But that's okay, because honestly, the sternum strap was great, and I'm upset that I don't have it anymore, but the comfortability with this bag was a huge shock, because you don't really have that much of an air channel back here. You do have a strap for luggage pass-through if you need it, but when it comes to the actual like comfort, there's no load lifters, and these straps are kind of small. Overall, they're a little thin, but I found this bag to be pretty comfortable, and I think that's mainly due to the inside part of the strap here, where this mesh kind of like almost see-through material with the nice foam padding really sat nice on my shoulders. Even without the sternum strap to kind of keep it close together, I found this bag to be pretty comfortable, which is kind of crazy to me, not because of the build quality, but because my trip to Florida, my going there, I had this thing heavy as shit. I had almost my entire cinema camera rig in a little pouch in here, not the entire thing, but like the body and lens and some accessories in this, as well as my laptop, as well as a keyboard. I was also bringing stuff down to my friend, which I was gonna be jumping off and then make it lighter coming back. But going there, this bag was loaded out and pretty heavy, and it was still comfortable, even with these kind of minimal straps, which was a surprise, because my concern when I saw this was how thin these straps are. But if that's a concern you're having, as someone like me, honestly, pretty comfortable. And to give you an idea of what this bag is like, I am 5'8", around 165 pounds. This is what the bag looks like on me. Again, comfortable, fits my frame. 25 liter with the 5 liter expansion, which we're gonna get into, make this a very good travel bag for smaller loads. That small to medium size that you want to go, which makes this perfect for one bag travel and for those of us that like to pack a little bit lighter. All right, this laptop compartment is pretty solid. I do like that it allows you to fit up to a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and it also has that false bottom, so you've got that nice protection in case you accidentally put this down a little bit too hard or something were to happen where the bag drops. You have some pretty nice padding in this back compartment. On top of that, you also have the spot for a tablet, and additionally, there is a zippered pocket for a little bit more organization. Now, truth be told, I only had my laptop in here and that was it. I didn't use any of the other compartments. I don't have it in here right now because it's currently in use, but when it came to getting in and out, super easy, good laptop compartment. This little zippered compartment up here at the top is pretty solid, but I would probably be careful with what kind of bulky items you put in there because of where it's located. It might start to push at the top here, which means that you could have this weird bulge, which then might sit, depending on how tall in your frame, could sit like at the back of your neck when you're walking with it. So I think that this zipper compartment should be for something a little bit smaller, a little bit flatter, maybe like SSDs, some thin hard drives, computer accessories that might be thinner and not as bulky in case it does bulge out and kind of leave you with like a weird hump. Now, on the outside of this bag, you have a water bottle compartment and a passport compartment. Now, passport compartment, truth be told, I didn't use, my passport's expired, and I've been behind the curve on getting it reissued. So just to kind of show you the size of this, I did put one of my field notes in here just to kind of give you an idea that it does fit. That passport is on the side and is pretty hidden which I'm a fan of. This is also a good one if you wanted to put like valuables or like a baggie of cash or anything like that. If you're worried about it getting stolen, or just some smaller items that you might not need to get to quickly, this could be a good compartment for that. Now, water bottle compartment. I just don't like water bottles. I don't know. I've struggled with drinking out of like reusable ones and just one-time use ones. It's just like a weird habit that I've kind of gone into, so I just don't bring one with me. I usually get like a water bottle there, and then I just keep it for the duration of the trip, which is not environmentally friendly, but it's the only way I can get myself to drink water, because if I have a regular, it doesn't matter. I don't know why I'm explaining this to you. Point is, hard for me to bring a water bottle, so instead, because there's no quick access, which we're gonna get to, I end up using this mesh compartment for something a little different. For starters, where my AirPod Pros go, because having quick access to my headphones when I'm traveling is more important than having my plane ticket sometimes. I mean, probably as important, because I guess you can't really go anywhere without your plane ticket, but having the plane ticket in my headphones, like that's all I need to really get on my flight. I could lose everything else in my bag and I can still have a good time on the flight as long as I have headphones, because there's always a crying baby, always. Additionally in here, because like I said, there was no quick access in the way I have my tech gear organized, I always keep a portable charger with an extra fast charger for my iPhone, for headphones, whatever I might need to. Now, this water bottle pocket does fit your average water bottle. It's good, it's mesh, it's fine, just water bottle is not something I've been using. And speaking of quick access though, let's talk about that. That is probably the only other downside to this bag for somebody like me when I travel. I love a top quick access compartment that I can just dump stuff in that I need on the go, on my flight, or wherever I might be. Unfortunately, the only quick access or really outside compartment you get with any kind of organization is going to be this flat compartment right here. Like I said at the top, this is the one that's going to be changing to just a mesh zippered guy. Luckily, if you're like me and you like to use pouches, it really doesn't matter, because what I ended up going with is my Dayfare tech pouch, because it lays flat. It's really easy for me to put 2 fast charging bricks, 2 extra cables, my MacBook Pro charger, and any extra dingles, dangles, and dongles I might need for like camera gear or any other equipment that I might be bringing with me, if I'm bringing any at all. But in terms of average tech stuff, this fit perfectly, and it does work really well with this being a lay flat. Additionally in here, I have my Field Notes leather journal, because when I'm out traveling for filming, or if I'm just doing anything in general when it comes to filming for my new job, I like to keep notes, so I have things to refer back to. It's crazy how you learn in your 30s that taking notes is actually like beneficial. Crazy. It's crazy what happens when you write stuff down. Now, also in here, I put my sunglasses, because again, there's really nowhere else to put them. But if you need that extra room, it does have that 5-liter expansion like I mentioned up top. Now, for me, I didn't end up having to use the expansion, which was kind of nice, just because I prefer not to use expansion. I actually kind of make it like a personal mission not to use expansion if it's available in a bag, just to see if I can pack that light. But it does kind of give you that extra little, just a zipper around, very similar to like the Peak Design travel bag, which has that zipper around, pops out a little bit, gives you that extra 5 liters if you were gonna bring a bigger camera cube or something inside, or a packing cube, or whatever it might be. Very, very easy, and again, with those zippers and the zipper pulls, it does make it pretty easy. I mean, I can one-hand zipper this, I'm just steadying the bag. So that right there is how all of these zippers are. Super smooth. That's probably really loud in all my microphones, but I just love how easy these zippers are. Like, I can't express how annoying it is with one of my favorite camera bags, where sometimes the zippers get stuck because they just, you know, they're bulky, they're beefy, they have the weather guard, they've got all the stuff going, and it can be kind of like a pain in the butt. But with this one, I mean, I can literally just, if I can grab the zipper, try to look cool there. But yeah, super easy, and that's all of the zippers on there. But point is, if you want that expansion, you got it there. If you need it, that extra 5 liters can definitely make a difference for some of us. So my first loadout with this bag was more camera centric, and also taking stuff down to my friend in Florida. So I had like an airloft jacket that I was getting rid of, a DJI mic that I was getting rid of. There was some extra camera gear I was getting rid of. I had really just like a little Ziploc baggie full of the minimal toiletry kit items that I needed just to save space. And then I had a packed 5-liter sling that had all my camera equipment in. And honestly, this loadout worked way better than I thought it would. It was super easy. I had some snacks in there and I really enjoyed it. And then as I was dumping that stuff off to the people I was giving it to in Florida, coming back, it was even lighter. And I should also say this thing is only 0.7 pounds empty. Very light, very easy to carry, and honestly, again, going back to that comfort factor, because it's light, even when I had it packed out with heavy camera gear, it was still extremely comfortable. Now, this is more of a traditional travel loadout for me these days. I typically am not bringing a lot of camera gear with me. I was down there to shoot a video, so I brought some of it, but my normal travel, like when I went to go visit my sister with this bag, is kind of the loadout I have in here, and that's what we're gonna talk about. Up at the top flap, you have this wonderful mesh with a little bit of expansion, a little bit of flexibility. This is where I put my airloft jacket for my first trip. I didn't really use it for my second one. This is a great little thing. I also used this on my way back from Florida for like stinky, dirty clothes, because it just seemed like a good spot for them. So I really like this in a lot of bags, because if you're bringing a thinner jacket or an extra set of clothes or something like that, this is a good spot for that, as well as, again, more flat items. Now, the rest of my loadout, as you can see, is a pretty standard one. I am currently on book 2 of the Silo series. If you have Apple TV, I would recommend watching the show, but honestly, as I just finished the first book, books are better. Did you guys know books are cool? I just started reading this year for like really reading this year, and it's fun. It's fun to read. Did you know that? That's an Odie Matthews exclusive. It's fun to read. And then also in here is what I would consider the greatest of all time when it comes to toiletry kits. This is the Gravel Mini. Now, everything Gravel makes is fucking incredible. I absolutely love Gravel. Shout out Lance, incredible company. But this little mini toiletry kit that has a spot for your toothbrush and then all your basic toiletry items is something that I take with me everywhere except to Florida, because space made sense. But I really, really love these. You can hang them up. Again, it's one of my favorite toiletry kits. Usually does not leave the home without me. Also in here, because where I was going to be going, I wanted to have some day stuff. This is just another packed sling. This is their smaller sling. I'm a big fan of packed slings. This was more for my daily stuff when I got there. Put my daily stuff in here when I was with my sister and her niece, my nieces and nephew and stuff. This was more like my daily items, because naturally when you have 4 nieces and nephews all under the age of 10, they're going to ask you for stuff, and they're going to ask you to hold on to stuff. They're going to ask you to hold on to pointless stuff like rocks. And you will, because you're good. And I did, and I gave them back to them. And they're like, why did you give me this rock? And I was like, you gave me the rock, but it doesn't matter. That's what happens when you deal with a 5-year-old. They're really good at convincing you you're crazy. What else was in here is just a hoodie. This is a Not Me Only hoodie, Matty Hapuja's brand. I absolutely fucking love these hoodies. They're incredible if you can still get them. I'll link the website, hopefully it still works. I have like 3 of these, and they are my go-to hoodie. I absolutely, absolutely love them. And where I was going was a little chilly, so I needed a hoodie as well as some long sleeves, and that made it really easy. And then the last thing in here has just been my go-to kind of minimal toiletry kit, or packing cube, which kind of surprises me. This one is from Tropic Feel. I just really like it. It's really well organized. I like the way it lays out, and though my normal go-to would be Peak Designs, we don't support snitches. I'm gonna leave that out there. We don't support snitches. And that is the inside of this bag. It is a very standard, traditional style travel backpack. But what I think makes this one stand out, for me personally at least, is for one, the price point. Right now, the early bird pricing is around like $90, $95 on Kickstarter. And even after that, I think it's only like a little over $100 on Kickstarter if you don't get the early bird special, which in comparison is crazy when you think about that price point. If you think about slings, like even this sling that I like, this is like an $80 sling. This bag is only like $15 more than this. And that's how a lot of bags are. And if you're in the US, there's a chance things might be getting more expensive across the board. So being able to find something that's budget friendly, but also still have that durability, the organization, comfort, list goes on of things that this bag does right. For that price point, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. That's why I came out of retirement to talk about it, because it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer to get something that is not only cost-effective, but also travel-effective. So with all that being said, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll do my very best to answer those for you. Huge shout out and thank you to Dylan again for asking me to do this review. It meant a lot to me to be able to come out of retirement for something like this. This is something that meant a lot to me to come out and do this, and I'm really happy I got to, and it's fun to shake off some of that rust, but I also want to say I am not back. If you want to see more of me, head over to Magnum Opus. That's my new YouTube channel where we look at bad movies, and that's where I will be. I don't plan on coming back to this unless another subscriber reaches out about doing a review, in which that case, message me. Let's talk. I don't mind doing that. But anyways, with all of that being said, I would normally say I'll see you next time, but I'll see you around.